coming to my concert today. This is a concert for my contemporary music maker for ID Music. I wrote a composition based off of the folktale How Anansi Got His Stories from the Ashanti people of Ghana. I got help from Matt, who is my co-composer, and Keegan, who is the narrator.
Nyankampan, the sky god, owned all the stories in the world. Many had tried to buy them, but failed to meet Nyankampan's price. Then along came Anansi the spider. I want the stories, he said, and I will pay whatever you ask. Nyankampan only laughed, but Anansi would not be put off. Again and again he asked the price, until Nyankampan threw up his hands. All right then, this is my price. Python, Osebo the leopard, Mboro the hornet swarm, and Watia the nature spirit. Can you do that, spider, or shall we forget the whole thing? I will bring you all of them, you will see, said Anansi, and bid Nyankampan a good day. Anansi scurried home to gather the things he would need. He cut a long branch from the tree by his door and gathered some sturdy vines. Then he asked his wife Aso to come with him. Into the jungle, Anansi and Aso went until they saw Onini curled in the branches of his favorite tree. They began to shout at one another. Be shorter, I tell you, screamed Aso. Foolish woman, Onini is so long he can swallow this pinky branch whole. And so it went with Anansi and Aso raising such a ruckus that birds flew from the trees and small animals scurried for their burrows. Onini raised his head, demanded to know why Anansi and Aso had disturbed his nap. When they explained their argument, the great python unwrapped himself from the tree and in one graceful motion slid to the ground. This is easy enough to settle, he said, and told Anansi to lay the branch down. He stretched himself alongside it. Now Anansi knew that Onini took a great pride in being the biggest, the longest, and the best of everything. Anansi paced back and forth, shaking his head and making tisky-tisky noises. Maybe you really are shorter, Onini, he said. Can you stretch out more? Onini stretched and stretched. He stretched until he could stretch no more. Quick as anything, Anansi wrapped the vine around Onini's body, just under the head. This will keep you from slipping, he explained, and then told Aso to pull hard on Onini's hair. While Aso pulled, Anansi wrapped. Onini was so busy trying to stretch himself that he did not notice anything until it was over. He was bound fast. That was just like a python. They were big and strong, but not terribly bright. Well now, said Anansi, it seems I can take my first payment to Nyankampan. For Osebo the leopard, Anansi dug a deep pit in the path between Osebo's lair and the watering hole. He covered it with leaves and sticks, then ran away. The next morning, Anansi returned with 2 thick branches and 1 heavy rock. He looked into the pit, and there was Osebo, pacing around and around. Osebo, said Anansi, what are you doing in that hole? Never mind that, snarled Osebo. Just get me out. Will you promise not to eat me if I do? Asked Anansi. I am Osebo the leopard. I promise nothing to anyone, came the reply. Now do as I say. Anansi did not argue. He put the branches across the opening and told Osebo to put his front paws over them. When Osebo did, Anansi hit his head with a rock. That was the way of things with leopards. They expected everyone to be afraid of them, even when they were the ones trapped in the pit. Well now, said Anansi, it seems I can take my second payment to Nyankampan. On the way home, Anansi was already thinking about Mboro, the hornet swarm. He had hollowed out a large gourd and filled it with water. Then he found a big palm leaf. With these things, he approached the slowly. He climbed the tree and worked his way up behind the nest. Then, quick as anything, he poured half of the water in the gourd on himself and the other half on the hornets. The hornets, having been thoroughly doused, woke with a furious humming. Anansi held the palm leaf over himself and swarmed. Hornets, oh hornets, he called. The sky is pouring rain. Maybe you should move into this gourd and wait out the storm. I can keep you sheltered with this leaf while you come over. There was another buzzing, and then the storm rose in a single body and moved into the gourd. Quickly, Anansi clapped the palm leaf over the opening to hold the points inside. He smiled to himself. One thing about hornets, one day would wander. The whole swarm was buzzing unhappily inside Anansi's hoard. Well now, said Anansi, it seems I can take my third payment to Nyankampan. Next, Anansi took some wood from the gum tree and carved a small gum baby. He tied one end of a long string around the gum baby's neck and then covered it with a sticky tree sap. He placed the gum baby under the flamboyant tree, where fairies liked to dance, and put a bowl of pounded yams beside it. Then Anansi took the loose end of the string in his hand and hid among some bushes. At last, along came Mattia, dancing and dancing. She stopped when she saw the gum baby and the bowl of pounded yams. She loved yams. Gum baby, may I have some of your yams? She asked. Anansi from the bushes pulled the string and made the gum baby nod. Mattia took the bowl and ate up all of the pounded yams. The gum baby said nothing. Mattia became very irritated, for she was an ill-tempered fairy. Do you not speak to me when I thank you, she demanded. The gum baby was still. If you do not speak to me, gum baby, I'll slap your face, she shouted. Still, the gum baby was silent. Pow! Mattia slapped the gum baby on the face, then found her hand waving away. Let me go or I'll slap you again, she bellowed. Pow! She slapped the gum baby with her other hand, and it also stuck fast. She pushed against it with her foot, then with her other foot, until she was completely stuck to the gum baby. Then Anansi came out of the bushes and stood over the angry fairy. Now, Mattia, you are ready to meet the sky god. So it was that Anansi the spider handed Nyankampan a sticky mess of a wooden doll and an enraged nature spirit. I think this fulfills my part of the bargain, said Anansi. Nyankampan threw back his head and laughed